Hello everyone and welcome back to another Spigot Development tutorial, where in this video I will be showing you how you can create your very own custom config files for your server. This is going to be a part 2 to the last video that I made about kind of the basic config system in the API, and in this video I will be showing you how you can kind of do a little bit more advanced things with it, with like your own custom configs and how to like set data and all that from the plugin. So the first thing that we need to do is, in our main class, we need to create a file and a file configuration. And from here we will actually create the file and set the config here in a new method called createConfig. And I'm kind of just going to manage the config from the main class here for the most part, just for the sake of keeping this simple, but you by no means have to do that. So the first thing we need to do is create the file, and to do that we will make the parent directory the data folder, which is essentially just the folder that kind of holds all of like your config files and all that stuff like that, and we will call it data.yml. So from there we need to check if the file exists, and if it doesn't, we need to make sure that the data folder actually exists as well. And to do that we will get the parent file and check if that exists, and if it doesn't, we will get the parent file and make the directory. And from there we can create the new file, and this will throw an IO exception, so we need to surround this in a try catch, and we will catch the IO exception, and to handle it we're just going to print the stack trace. From here, after we create this, we can set the file in the class to the file that we just created, and we can also set the config to YAML configuration load configuration file. The only thing left to do for this is to just actually run the method, or what am I doing? Run the method in our onEnable. From here, I'm just going to quickly show you how you can create, set a quick value. So to do that, we need to create a separate method here called save, and we will just say config.save and save it to the file. And this will also throw an IO exception, so I will surround that with a try catch as well. So to actually set something, we just do config.set, and then we need to define a path, which I will just say is message, just a single section, and we'll say this is a message from a custom config file, and then we just save it. So if I run this real quick and I reload it, you will see, if I open this up, you will see right here our start data folder right here, and this right here is the file that we just created. And if I open that up, you will see our message right here. So to once again kind of reiterate the previous video with the reading, I'm going to create a command here just called message, because that's what I named the section. And I'm not gonna like bore you with this, I'll just cut to when I'm done with this. To briefly go over what I did, I created an instance here of the main class here, and I created a getter and setter for it, and I set the instance in the onEnable method here. This is basically just something that I like to do to kind of freely get an instance of the main class from other classes without having to kind of, you know, make my code look stupid and ugly. Some might call it static abuse. I don't, because I mean, I don't need to get into all that, but you can do it a multitude of different ways. This is just how I like to do it. And I also created a getter and setter for the config here. And if we go to the message command here, I just sent the sender a message, and I got the instance of the main class here, I got the config method that I made in there, and then I got the message string. I registered the command here in the main class in the onEnable method, and I also registered it in our plugin.yml, which is all stuff that I went over in my command video. So if you don't know how to do that, go back and watch that. That's going to be very important for the rest of the series because I'm going to be making commands a lot that kind of, show you how all this works. So if I build this real quick and I reload my server here, you'll see if I do message here, this is a message from a custom config file. So all pretty simple to do. And there is one other thing that I kind of wanted to go over, which I kind of abused in my last video, but when you are editing config files from your from the machine that it's hosted on, generally speaking, you don't want to reload the entire server because that has a tendency to break plugins. So a lot of commands that you'll see will implement a reload command into the plugin itself to kind of reload all the information that they changed, so it doesn't break every other plugin on their server. So I'm going to create another command here called reload, and I will cut back to when I'm done with this. Alright, so one change that I made to the tutorial, or to the main class here, is I created a getter for the file itself, which will be important in the command here. So basically, to just reload your changes, all you have to do is just basically do the same thing that we did when we set the config, where you just load the configuration again from the file, and it will automatically update it, I guess. The command, it's kind of stupid the way I did it. I made the command reload, and then I made a separate argument, I guess, just because I wanted to make its own command, I guess. So I'll make the command tutorial because that's what the plugin's called. I'll just say manages the plugin, but there will be an argument there for actually reloading the command. So if I register the command here in our main class, and I reload again, you'll see if I do tutorial, this is a tutorial plugin, which you can obviously put whatever you want here, who made it, stuff like that, version, just kind of a general message. But then if I do tutorial reload, obviously nothing will get sent because I didn't actually write a message, which I can do real quick. Sender.send message, the plugin has been reloaded. And if I reload again, you'll see if I do tutorial reload, the plugin has been reloaded. And if I go and change something real quick, all I did here was just change the message here. So if I go back to our console here and I do tutorial reload and I do message again, updated message from a config file. So it's all pretty simple. You can change this all you want. I can just say absolute gibberish. You'll see message, nothing got updated after I saved it. Tutorial reload, message, there you go, gibberish. So this is all it's all pretty easy to do. A little more complicated than obviously what I did last video, but that's kind of why I wanted to separate it into two different videos, just to kind of have a simple and a more complex version. But that's pretty much it. See you in the next video.